Hello, I'm Chris. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for joining me. Today I'm going to tell you about a brand new brand called Soma Parfums. This is direct from the brain of popular Instagrammer Fragrance Weirdo, but these fragrances are anything but weird. They're very unweird, in fact. And there's a good chance these are going to get you noticed. So let's dive in, talk about them, and make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end for a discount code. Fragrance Weirdo, aka Dan Rothschild, well known on Instagram and on Facebook, is a serious perfume collector. He's been in the game for a while. He knows what works, he knows what doesn't work, he knows what he likes, and he's composed 3 fragrances here that I'm assuming are based on 3 of his favorite types of fragrances. And you know what? They're done really well. They are exactly the style of perfumes that I thought someone like Dan might release. One thing I know about Dan is that he likes high quality fragrances. If a fragrance is not quality, he doesn't want to know about it. So it goes without saying that the fragrances that he's composed here are all very high quality. Before we go any further, I do just need to let you know these fragrances were gifted to me by the brand. No money is exchanged hands here. And of course, as usual, all my opinions will be honest. I'm not going to tell you something's good if it's not good, because you're just going to come back to me and say, hey Chris, why did you say that fragrance was good when it's not? But then, you know, we all have different opinions, so sometimes maybe I think something is good and maybe it's not for you. We just have to accept we all have different opinions and likes and dislikes. Okay, let's talk about these 3 fragrances so it gives you a bit of an idea of what's going on with each of them. We're going to start with Carmine. The notes are in the top, lemon, saffron, geranium; in the mid, rose, violet, amber, leather, vetiver; and in the base, oud, rose, leather, sandalwood, and resins. If you like powerful, strong, impactful fragrances, I think you'll really like this. This has got tons of depth and power behind it. The main notes that jump out to me are the oud and the rose. I'd say that the oud is this just slightly medicinal oud. It's not a funky, animalic smelling oud at all. It complements the rose really nicely. If you like fragrances like MFK's Oud Satin Mood, it's sort of along those lines. It's not the same as that fragrance at all, but if you like that rich, velvety, smooth, sensual, well-rounded, rose-based fragrance, then I think Carmine you're going to love. The word apparently means red, and I don't know if I've been swayed by the name of the fragrance, but sometimes when I smell fragrances, it does conjure colours, and I absolutely get red with this, rose, so you know, obviously that's sort of what comes to mind. But it's this deep red, rich, sensual rose, very easy to wear. This for me would be a great evening scent. It's deep, it's sensual. I think this would work very well when you're going out for dinner with someone or you're going to the cinema with someone. This doesn't fill a room. I'm saying it's strong and potent. It's not a room filler. It's got a really nice reserved sort of scent bubble. It does project. So when you're sitting with someone and it's a little bit more intimate, I think this one is going to work really well because they're going to smell it quite strongly and they get those lovely rosy, oudy, sensual vibes coming from it. This one for me just hums with energy. I smell this and I can almost sort of visualize the molecules just bouncing off one another, not in a chaotic way because it is a very distinctive fragrance that knows what it's doing, but it just seems to have this harmonious resonance to it. Like I said, it sort of hums in a really intriguing and slightly mysterious way. If you like to wear your fragrances seasonally, I would say Carmine would excel in the autumn and winter, but I could wear it all year round easily. In fact, any of these 3 fragrances you could easily wear all year round, but I know some people like to section fragrances off to wear for different seasons. So autumn and winter for Carmine, but if you're as crazy as me, you'll wear it all year round. This is stunning quality. This is one of the nicest rose oud fragrances I've smelt. Sometimes rose is a little too much for me. Something like MFK, totally doable. This is sort of in that realm as well. So if you like that style of fragrance, then that should give you a pretty good idea of what this one smells like. Let's move on to Vereed. The notes in this one, in the top, are lavender, bergamot, juniper and pepper. In the mid, vetiver, patchouli, cypress and pine needle. In the base, leather, cedar, oak moss, sandalwood and musk. This one to me is a classic barbershop style fougere. There's a bit of a shaving foam thing going on with it. You've got the lavender, the oak moss, the herbs, really beautifully done. This is very nicely blended. It reminds me of fragrances along the lines of Tom Ford's Beau de Jour, maybe MDCI's Invasion Barbare. So you've got that very nice, aromatic, clean smelling, possibly you could say gentlemanly smelling fragrance, although obviously it's unisex, anyone can wear this. Another aspect to Vereed which I really enjoy is the way the patchouli is done. So it gives off this slightly earthy vibe, but also it's a little bit chocolatey. Not so much that it makes the fragrance smell overly of chocolate or gourmand in any way, but sometimes in these types of barbershop fragrances, the patchouli can just give off just a little hint of chocolate, which I love because it just adds this sensual quality, some richness and depth. It really is a beautiful smelling fragrance. With this style of scent, I would say that perhaps it does lean a little more mature, so I'd say 30 plus perhaps. Obviously anyone younger could wear this if it's your style, but generally speaking, this DNA does lean a little older, I think. It's very versatile. This would be great in spring if you're going to go seasonally, but this is just a really nice, clean smelling barbershop style fragrance. So you can absolutely wear this any time of year for any occasion and you're going to smell great. This one smells really, really classy. Of all of them, this is probably the classiest smelling. I think it's just blended really nicely. It's as good as any other fragrance within this barbershop category that I've smelt. I'm really impressed with this. I'm not always in the mood for this type of fragrance, but when I am, I want one that's going to do the job well, and Vereed is certainly going to do that. I get decent performance, I get a nice, modest projection from it, and good longevity. I think it must be a fairly high concentration of oils in all three of these because I get good longevity in all of them. So if you want something classy, if you want something that's a classic barbershop style fougere, and maybe something that leans a little older to give you that sort of air of refinement and confidence, then Vereed could be one for you to try. And the last one to talk about is Blonde. The notes in the top are orange and grapefruit, in the mid, coconut and hinoki wood, in the base, amber, musk, tonka and vanilla. I'd describe this one as creamy citrus with marine vibes. It's definitely bright and uplifting, makes you think of the sunshine and being in a good mood. The orange and the grapefruit in this seem to combine to me to create what smells more like mandarin, which I love. I think it's really nice. I don't get a strong orange and I don't get a strong tart grapefruit. They sort of seem to meet in the middle. So what you get is this really nicely rounded citrus, which then has this slightly creamy profile as well. If you like L'Homme Ideal cologne, which is another creamy citrus style fragrance, doesn't smell like that, but it's in that sort of arena. So if you like that style of fragrance, I would also say that whilst it doesn't smell particularly like these fragrances, but it gives me the same feeling of these two fragrances, both from Amouage and it's Beach Hut Man and Sunshine Man. And as with both those fragrances, whilst they are sunny, bright fragrances that work really well in the sunshine, in the heat, in the summer, there's enough to them, there's enough complexity to them to work all year round. And I think the same can be said for Blonde. Awesome summer fragrance, but there's enough going on here. There's enough complexity that would make it work well all year round. You get suntan lotion vibes because of the coconut, and sometimes it's nice to have that sort of coconutty suntan lotion vibe in the sunshine because it just fits really well. But sometimes maybe in the deep dark depths of winter you want to wear a fragrance like that to lift your spirits and remind you of those nice bright warm sunshiny days. So I think this kind of fragrance can definitely be worn any time of year. Definitely got some good vibes going on with this. I would say out of all of these three, for me this is the most wearable and the most versatile and the most mass appealing. Absolutely anyone could wear this. It's got some youthful qualities, but it's got plenty of gravitas as well. I get decent performance, no problem getting through a day, 8 to 10 hours, and I'm getting wafts all through that time. It projects nicely. Again, it's not a room filler, but it's got a fairly decent scent bubble. So yeah, I think this one is going to be getting quite a lot of wear from me. Bright, uplifting, and feel good. Blonde. Now, I know Dan loves a nicely presented perfume, and I think he's done a good job with the presentation of his as well. We've got these really good, sturdy glass bottles. The cap is nicely textured, so easy to get a grip, to get it on and off, and it's metal as well. And the label on the front is not paper, that is a metal label, so it just screams quality, very solid, high quality, so really enjoying the bottles. The presentation cases have this leather effect, and the name is in gold writing on the front, and then they sit nicely in this fold over case that has a magnetic attachment just on this side here, and then the bottle just sits nicely in that shimmery cloth. Good job with the presentation. These are retailing for £140 for 75ml. I will link the Soma Parfums website in the description, and if you want to get some money off, here's the discount code. You just need to put MENTAL20 at checkout and you'll get quite a significant discount. So overall, I think this is a great new brand. I love the scents. I think they're all very wearable. I love the presentation. I think it's a very welcome addition to the niche fragrance market. And based on these, I am really intrigued to see what Dan comes up with next. Maybe a tobacco oriental style fragrance, perhaps? That might work for me. All right, that's it from me on this one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it useful. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you do that, I will see you in the next one. Bye.